Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Asad Yaqub and once again I welcome you to my IELTS listening video. Actually, we are going to conduct a full-time listening test, and in this test I'm going to explain the questions first, then I will play one part of the audio, then I'll show you the answers. Once again we'll go ahead, I'll explain the questions. After explaining the questions, I'll play the audio and then I'll show you the answers. This is how you can check your answers as well, and I've given a lot of tips in this test as well. All you need is pen and paper, because you need to write the answers on a piece of paper, and I'm going to show you all the test on the screen. You can see that quite easily. Now we just take a start with this test, and be careful. Out of 40, you have to see how many answers are correct, and then when you finish the test, go to the comments and type your correct answers. Out of 40, how many answers are correct? Type those answers. Just type that out of 40, my 30 answers are correct, 40 answers are correct, 35 are correct, 20 are correct, and all that. And I've given you very nice tips while solving the test. So now let's go to the listening question booklet and we continue from there. Okay guys, my name is Asad Yaqub and we're going to start with this listening test, and it's actually write no more than 2 words. So you need to notice that, and or a number, 2 words and a number, or 2 words or a number. So Preston Park Run, details of run, example, days of park run Saturday. This is given, the audio will start, they will say Saturday and all that. Okay. Now start of run, in front of the dash. In front of the dash means it's going to be a place or anything. So this is section 1. They will tell you clearly in front of, right? Time of start. Now time of start number 2 is basically a time. So you can write it in any time format. There is no problem. Okay, next is length of run. It's the duration. It's basically the length. It can be in kilometers, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers and all that. At the end of run, volunteers scans no more than 2 words. So they scan something. Volunteer scans two words. Okay. Best way to register on the website, on the whatever. Okay, I'm not sure about it. And cost of run, that is in pounds, so 10 pounds, 5 pounds and all that. So this is how you can just do this. Now no more than 2 words, again no more than 2 words. This is latest. And or a number. Volunteering. Now volunteering, contact name Pete dash. First name is given, last name is missing. That's what you need to write. Phone number, so simple. You got to write a number with code, whatever it is. They will tell you the number. Activities, setting up course. These are the activities. 9. Dash the runners, something which is related to the runners. Setting up course, dash the runners. Okay. And number 10, dash for the weekly report. Now again there is something that is related to weekly report. So dash for the weekly report, and remember no more than 2 words. Okay. Now let's take a start with section 2, and section 2 is about table. There's a table, questions 11 to 20, right? Complete the table below. Write no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. It's Pacton on Sea bus tour. The whole table is about Pacton on Sea bus tour. Bus stop, location, things to see. So the questions are not about bus stop. 2 questions are about location and 2 questions are about things to see. Now you can see the information which is already given, that might help you. Bus stop 1, train station, start of tour. Things to see, start of tour. Bus stop 2, location, the aquarium. This is how you need to keep track with the audio. Location, the aquarium, things to see, dolphins and dash. Now it's another sea animal that resembles with dolphin and that lives in aquarium, right? Dolphins and dash. Bus stop number 3, location, dash. Now they will tell you the location in the audio and no more than 3 words. So you can just write it. And things to see, they are already given, so you don't need to read that. Bus stop 4, location, dash center. It can be city center or any other center. So you got to just write it down here, no more than 3 words. And things to see, very old buildings, very old castle, very old something. They will tell you in the audio. Okay, so how are you going so far? Section 2, the last questions 15 to 20. Complete the sentences below. Write no more than 2 words. Again now, no more than 2 words and or a number for each answer. You need to have a means singular noun, to buy a ticket for 10 pounds. So you need to have a something to buy a ticket for 10 pounds, right? Next, number 16. The bus tour lasts dash in total. Lasts means duration. So it can be 2 hours, 3 hours, 90 minutes and all that in total. Number 17. The cost of the bus ticket includes entrance to the dash. Now the cost of bus ticket includes entrance to the museum, entrance to the castle, entrance to the whatever, right? They'll tell you in the audio. You can listen to an audio commentary which has been made by the. Now that commentary has been made by the dash, so you got to just find it. Commentary which is made by, which is produced by, so they will tell you about that. There's a study tip here. If you do not know the phrase audio commentary, use the context and other words in the sentence to help you decide what it means. For example, it is something you listen to on a bus tour. Audio commentary. So if you don't know the meaning of commentary, you know the meaning of audio, still you can find the answer. 19. If the weather is wet means rain. Now here they are saying wet weather, there they might use the word rain. It is a good idea to bring umbrella, raincoat, overcoat or anything that can be used in the wet weather, right? Number 20, don't forget to bring your dash when you book online. Now don't forget to bring your slip, receipt or anything when you book online. So you need to bring something in order to book online, or for online booking there is something that you need, so you need to bring that very thing, and that belongs to you. Don't forget to bring your ID or your something when you book online. Study tip, check that all the sentences are grammatically correct and make sense. For example, don't repeat the before your answer to question number 18 because they have already written the here, so don't write the second time, don't do the repetition, so you need to check your answers. Alright, now let's go on. We've got multiple choice. Questions 21 to 26, choose the correct letter A, B, C. Dave Hadley says that the computer system has. Now Dave Hadley says computer system has what? Too many users, never worked well, become outdated. So these are very short answers. You can easily understand whatever Dave Hadley says about it, and he might talk about any option first, second or third, and he might reword any of the options, right? And usually the options which are direct, they are not the answers. The options which are reworded, usually they are the answers, but this is just one tip. Number 22, the main problem with the computer system is that, main problem. There can be some other problems, but main problem with the computer system is that it is slow, stops and displays incorrect data. So you need to just listen to that in the audio. 23, timetabling has become an issue because. Timetabling has become an issue or a problem or a challenge. They might use any word because. Now what's the reason? There is not enough time for anyone to do it. So not enough time means time availability. The system does not handle course options. So system does not handle course option. That's why timetabling has become an issue. The courses are constantly changing. Courses constantly changing. So there is one reason out of 3 and you got to see which reason is that. And let me tell you, they might talk about all 3 reasons in any order. They might start with this one. But there you got to see the positivity and the negativity. About one option, they might talk negatively. About one option, they will talk positively, and that will be the right answer. So you need to focus on tone and intonation of the speaker, right? Tone and intonation, whether it is positive or negative. 24. To solve the timetabling issue, Randhir suggests that. Now Randhir is another speaker and he suggests something. Students should create their own timetables. Dave should have someone to assist him. And the number of courses should be reduced. 25. Randhir says that a new system may. Now Randhir says, according to Randhir, a new system may need to be trialed, still have problems, to be more economical. So trialed, problems, economical. That's what they are focusing. 26. Improving the existing system will take a few weeks. Now it's the duration. 4 or 5 months, 9 months. You got to just see the duration. Few weeks, a couple of weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 or 5 months, or 9 months. Okay, now let's go on. Complete the flow chart. This is a flow chart. There are the arrows in steps. Write no more than 2 words for each answer. Next steps. Get approval from. Now you need to write about the authority or the person from where you need to get approval. Complete. Now it's no more than 2 words. Remember that. Complete a dash form. It's the type of form. It can be admission form or any other type of form, right? So you got to write it here. And approval from, it can be a person, right? Then book a dash with the system analyst. It can be appointment or anything like that. You need to book but it's so it means it's not going to be appointment. It's something else, sort of appointment with the system analyst. Set up a dash with technologies team. Set up again singular thing, with technologies team, right? Set up a what? Set up a meeting with technologies team, right? Book a meeting, book something. So it's not going to be difficult. Now we've got the test tip. Check the number of words you can use and read through the flow chart to understand the process. What type of information is missing in each gap? Are the answers likely to be plural or singular? So I told you singular answer here. There can be a person, again a singular answer here. Then study tip for 29 and 30, that is you can predict answers before you listen, but be careful. Why is appointment incorrect? Appointment is incorrect because then there should have been an appointment. So it's that is why it is not appointment. Incorrect for question 29. What other answers are possible? It's that. Okay, now the next one is complete the sentences below. Write no more than 2 words. Again, no more than 2 words and or a number for each answer. Ceramics. There are 3 categories. One is ceramics, one is glass, one is concrete. So the audio is divided into 3 parts. This is part 1, part 2 and part 3. Now let's see. Ceramics date back approximately. Date back. It's going to be a date. So your answer is a date. Date back approximately 100 years, 200 years, or date back approximately, it can be a date as well. 32. The first figurines were made in the area of. Now this is the area. For area they can use the word field of or whatever. The first figurines were made in the area of, in the field of, or related to. So of is a very good clue. There can be something after of even in the audio. Early humans could not use their pots to store. Now early humans could not, negative tone, negative thing, could not use their pots to store what? There was something which early humans could not store in their pots. So what is that thing? To store, and then there's going to be a noun. 34. The Chinese improved the quality of ceramics by mixing dash with the clay. There is another substance that they mixed. It can be sand or anything else they mixed and then they improved the quality. So Chinese improved the quality of ceramics by mixing dash with the clay, by mixing cement or any other thing. I don't know. I didn't do this test, so I'm just guessing. 35. Chinese porcelain was also called. Chinese porcelain was also called what? Now another name for Chinese porcelain. When I was at college, they used to call it porcelain. So it's porcelain maybe. I'm not sure. Chinese porcelain was also called. Another name they gave to Chinese porcelain, you got to write that name. Next is Botger added quartz and dash to clay. Now Botger, maybe a person or somebody, added quartz and dash. One thing is quartz, the second thing is missing, that's what you find, and he did that, added quartz and dash to clay to make porcelain. So he added these two things to clay, right? Quartz, and so they might talk about quartz first and then second thing, so don't expect that they would come in the same order. Next is glass. 37. Glass production is similar to clay ceramics. Now glass production, and then it is similar to clay ceramics apart from the rate of, now rate of something, rate of, percentage of, or something else, right? Glass production is similar to clay ceramics apart from the rate of something, and it's no more than 2 words. 38. The Romans introduced the use of glass to make, now important word is Romans, they introduced the use of glass to make statues, to make something, okay? So whatever that thing is, you got to write it here. To make walls, to make pots, to make statues, to make whatever. Concrete. 39. The discovery of concrete is probably due to observing reactions of water and, now water and, again I tell you, the next word can be right after water, or the next word can be before water, or there can be two separate sentences. One sentence will have the word water and the second sentence will have another substance. So the answer is basically a substance, right? Number 40. The ability to build large dash. Large. For large they can use the word gigantic, they can use the word big, they can use the word enormous, they can use the word massive and all that. The ability to build large dash contributed to the success of the Roman Empire. The ability to build large buildings, large houses, large something contributed. Now large is a very good clue. They will use another word for that. Big, gigantic, enormous, massive, contributed to the success of the Roman Empire. Okay, now we've got some tips. Test tip. There is no break in this section. Read all 10 sentences carefully in the preparation time. Study tip for 31 question number. Think of the sentences as questions. For example, when did ceramics start? Now you can see the question is ceramics date back approximately dash. So you can convert it into question. When did ceramics start? This can help you think of words and phrases to listen for. Study tip 32 and 34. The answer to question 32 is a place. What type of information is missing in the next two questions? So 32, it's about a place, area of. We have already discussed that. Study tip, use the headings ceramics, glass and concrete to help you keep your place as you listen. Okay. Test tip, make sure that the grammar of the completed sentences is correct. I mean, when you complete the sentence, grammatically the words you have put, they should be correct. Check there are no unnecessary words. Yes, unnecessary words like articles and all that, especially it's 2 word only and they count every word. Check spellings and use of plural with S, because if instead of plural you write singular and then there is the verb are or there is the verb have, your answer, if it is without S, they will consider it wrong answer. So you have to be very careful about these small things. Now I play the audio and you have to do questions 31 to 40.
You will hear a telephone conversation between the organizer of a park run and a woman who wishes to take part in the run. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Good morning, Dave Smith speaking.
Hi, could I speak to the organiser of the Preston Park Run?
Yes, that's me.
Great. I was talking to some friends of mine about the run, and they suggested I contact you to get some more details.
Sure. What would you like to know?
Well, they said it takes place every Saturday. Is that right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great.
Do you know where the park is?
Oh, yes, I've been there before, but it's quite big and I'm not sure where to go.
Well, there's a circular track that goes right around the park. The run starts at the cafe, goes past the tennis courts, then twice around the lake and finishes back where it started.
Okay, and what time is the run?
Well, the actual run begins at 9 a.m, but the runners start arriving at about 8:45.
Okay, so I need to get up early Saturday morning then. And how long is the run?
Well, it used to be 3 kilometres, but most people wanted to do a bit more than that, so we lengthened it to 5 kilometres. We now go round the lake twice, and that adds an extra 2 kilometres.
Right. Not sure I've ever run that far, so I'd better start doing a bit of training.
That's a good idea. But it's not a race, it's really just for fun. And the best thing would be to take it easy the first few times you do it, and then see if you can gradually improve your time.
Is the run timed then? How do I know how well I've done?
When you cross the finish line, you'll be given a barcode, and you take this to one of the run volunteers who will scan it. Then you can get your time online when you go home.
Oh, I see. You collect all the results.
Exactly.
I see. That's great. So, how do I register?
Well, there are several ways. I could take your details over the phone, but it's much easier if you do it using the website.
Okay, good. I think that's probably all I need to know for now. Oh yes, does it cost anything to register, or do you collect money each week?
Well, it doesn't cost anything to register, but we do charge for the run. In fact, we have just increased the charge to £1.50. It used to be £1, but because we were making a bit of a loss, we have had to increase it by 50p.
Okay, thanks. I think I have enough information on taking part in the run.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you will have some time to look at the questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
You mentioned volunteers. I have a friend who is interested in helping out. Can you give me some details so I can pass them on to her?
Sure. Well, you need to ask your friend to contact Pete Morn. He manages all the volunteers.
Okay. I didn't quite catch his surname. Was it Morn? M-O-R-N?
No, just a bit more complicated. It's M-A-U-G-H-A-N.
Right, thanks. And could you give me his phone number?
Yes, just a moment. It's here somewhere. Let me just find it. I've 2 numbers for him. I think the one that begins 01273 is an old one. So use this one. It's 01444 732900.
Okay, got that. Can you tell me anything about the volunteering? Like what kind of activities it involves?
Sure. Well, we need volunteers for basic stuff like setting up the course. We have to do that before all the runners arrive.
Okay, so that's a really early start.
Yes, that's right. But if your friend would prefer to arrive a bit later, she can also help with guiding the runners so they don't go the wrong way.
I see. I believe you do a report on some of the races.
Yes, that's right. In fact, we do a weekly report on each race, and we always try to illustrate it.
OK. Well, my friend really likes taking photographs. She's just bought a new camera.
Actually, that would be great. I don't know whether Pete has anyone to take photographs this week.
Oh, I'll let her know.
OK, good. Could you ask your friend to phone Pete and let him know?
Yes, I will.
OK, thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. You will hear a recorded message about a bus tour. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
Thank you for calling the phone line for the Pacton-on-Sea bus tour. This is a recorded message lasting approximately 4 minutes, and it provides general information on the town bus tour. Pacton-on-Sea is a beautiful West Coast town and has attracted tourists for many years. One of the best ways of getting to know the town is to take the bus tour, which provides a wonderful viewing experience from one of our open-top buses. The tour is a round trip of the town, and there are a total of 4 stops where passengers can get on and off the bus. A lot of people start at the first stop, which is at the train station, as this is where many tourists arrive in the town. The next stop after the station is the aquarium, which is famous for its dolphin show, and which has recently expanded to include sharks. This is well worth a visit and is very reasonably priced. Leaving the aquarium, the bus tour goes along the coast road and after a few kilometers comes to the old fishing village, where you can get off to stroll along the waterfront. There are some original buildings here, but most of the area has been modernized and is now used as a harbor for all kinds of sea craft, including yachts and some amazing powerboats. The tour then heads off to the last stop, and this is where most of the shops are. So for those of you keen to do a bit of shopping, this is the place for you. Our advice is to go to this part of the town in the morning when it is relatively quiet. It does get very busy in the afternoons, especially at the height of the season. This area of the town includes an ancient water fountain where many people like to have their photograph taken, so do look out for this.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you will have some time to look at the questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Now, some details of the costs and timings. A family ticket, which includes 2 adults and up to 3 children, costs $30. An adult ticket costs $15. Children under the age of 15 are $5, and student tickets are $10, as long as you have a student card. All tickets are valid for 24 hours, which means that you can get on and off the bus as many times as you like within a 24-hour period. So you could, for example, start the tour in the afternoon and complete it the following morning. The first bus of the day leaves the station at 10 a.m., and the last one of the day leaves at 6 p.m. Buses leave every 30 minutes, and each tour takes a total of 50 minutes. There are many attractions at each of the stops, so wherever you get off the bus, there will be plenty to do. The bus tour tickets do not include entrance to any of these attractions apart from the museum, which is located near the aquarium. Some buses have local guides who will point out places of interest and will provide information on the town. However, we cannot guarantee that every bus will have a guide, and so we also have an audio commentary that has been specially recorded for the bus tour by the tourist office. Headphones are available on the bus, and these are easy to operate. There is no extra charge for these. Just plug in, select the required language, and adjust the volume. Due to the winter months being rather cold and wet in Pacton-on-Sea, the bus tours only operate from March to September. The weather is usually warm and sunny during these months, so remember to bring some sun protection, especially on hot days. And of course, it does occasionally rain here in the summer, so if the weather looks bad, remember to bring some rainwear. The bus tours are available no matter what the weather. At the height of the summer, the tours can get very busy, so you are advised to book. You can book tickets online, over the phone, and also at the station, and at any of the other tour stops. When booking over the phone, you can collect your tickets at any of the stops at the start of your tour. When you do it online, you can print your e-ticket, which you must remember to bring with you. Thank you for calling the Pacton-on-Sea phone line, and we look forward to seeing you soon on one of our tour buses.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. You will hear a conversation between an admissions officer and a manager from the university's technologies department. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26.
Hello, I'm Randy Agotra from the Technologies Department.
Ah, yes, good. I'm Dave Hadley. Thanks for coming to see me.
That's okay. I believe you want us to do some work for you.
Yes, that's right. I'm responsible for student admissions to the college, and I use a computer system to help process student enrolments and to do the timetabling. But it really doesn't suit the way we work these days. It's over 10 years old, and although it was fine when it was first introduced, it's just not good enough now.
OK, what problems are you experiencing?
Well, 20 years ago, the college was quite small, and we didn't have the numbers of students or tutors that we have now.
So the system can't handle the increasing volumes?
Well, there's a lot more data now, and it sometimes seems the system has crashed, but in fact, it just takes ages to go from one screen to the next.
Right. Is that the only problem?
Well, that's the main one, but there are others. In the past, doing the timetabling was quite simple, but now we have a lot more courses, and what's made it complicated is that many of them have options.
Right, but the system should allow you to include those.
Well, no, it doesn't. It was supposed to, and a few years ago we did ask someone from the technologies department to fix it, but they never seemed to have the time.
Are there any other issues with the system?
Well, I've been given extra responsibilities, and so I have even less time to do the timetabling. If there was anything you could do, Randir, to make the process more efficient, that would be really helpful.
Well, it sounds like you could do with an assistant, but that's obviously not possible. So what about having an online system that students can use to do their scheduling?
How would that work?
Well, it may mean less choice for students, but we could create a fixed schedule of all the courses and options, and they could then view what was available.
And work it out for themselves. That sounds great.
OK, so we'll need to decide whether or not to improve the existing system or to build a completely new system.
Well, I'd much prefer to have a new system. Quite frankly, I've had enough of the old one.
OK, that'll probably take longer, although it may save you money in the long run. When were you hoping to have this in place?
Well, it's January now, and the new intake of students will be in September. We need to start processing admissions in the next few weeks, really.
Well, it will take more than a few weeks, I'm afraid. As an initial estimate, I think we'll be looking at April or May to improve the existing system, but for a new system, it would take at least 9 months. That would be October at the earliest.
Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
What are the next steps if we are to have a new system?
Well, the first question is, do you have support from your senior management?
Yes, I've already discussed it with them, and they're also keen to get this work done.
OK, because I was going to say that's the first thing you need to do, and without that we can't go ahead.
Yes, I've done that.
That's good.
Actually, they mentioned that there's probably a form I need to complete to formally start the project.
Yes, that's the next thing you need to do. I'll send you an email with a link so you can fill it in online. It's called a project request form.
OK, great. And then what happens?
Well, I have a list of things, but I think the third thing you should do is see Samir. He's our analyst who will look at the system and identify what needs to be done.
OK, can you send me his contact details and I'll set up a meeting with him?
OK, that's good. So we should soon be able to get a team together to start the work. Some members of our team work in different locations, so it's not easy to have face-to-face meetings.
That's OK. I'm used to having conference calls, providing they're not late at night.
Right, so I'll send you details of the team, and if you could set up a call, that would be great.
OK, I'll do that.
Thanks.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. You will hear a lecture about how the production of ceramics, such as plates, pots and glass, first began. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the origins of ceramics. So first of all, let's start off with, what is a ceramic? Well, generally speaking, ceramics are what you get when you apply heat to certain inorganic, non-metallic solids and then allow them to cool. And examples of ceramics are everyday things like earthenware pots, crockery, glassware, and even concrete. So how did it all begin? Well, it all started around 29,000 years ago, when humans discovered that if you dig up some soft clay from the ground, mould it into a shape, and then heat it up to a very high temperature, when it cools, the clay has been transformed into something hard and rigid. And so what did those first humans do with their discovery? Well, they created figurines, which were small statues and which depicted animals or gods or any shape that the clay could be moulded into. And all this activity was centred around southern Europe, where there is also evidence of ceramics that were created much later. The early humans also found a practical use for their discovery, such as storing things like grain, although there were drawbacks. The pots were porous, so that although they could carry water in them, it wasn't possible to store it over a long period. And also they were quite brittle and shattered very easily if they were dropped. But despite these problems, it was many thousands of years before there were any improvements. In China, at around 200 BC, they discovered that by adding minerals to the clay, they could improve both the appearance and the strength of the ceramics. But it took nearly 1,000 years before they perfected the process to produce high-quality ceramics known as porcelain. And once they had perfected the process, they kept it a secret for another 1,000 years. Compared to the first ceramics, porcelain was lighter, finer, harder, and whiter, and became an important commodity in China's trading with the rest of the world for hundreds of years. In fact, it became so valuable that it was known as white gold, and spies were sent to China to discover what they did to the clay to produce such high-quality merchandise. It wasn't until the 18th century that the secret began to unravel. A German alchemist called Johann Friedrich Böttger was asked by the king to make gold out of lead. Unfortunately, Böttger failed to achieve this and soon gave up. But in order to please the king, he attempted to make high-quality porcelain. And after many years of experimentation, he discovered that by adding quartz and a material called China stone to very high-quality clay, he managed to get the same results that the Chinese had been achieving for the last 1,000 years. We'll now look at another ceramic which is made from mixing sand with minerals and heating to over 600 degrees Celsius. When this mixture cools, the result is, of course, glass. The main difference between ceramics made from clay and glass is that clay is made up of crystalline plates which become locked together in the cooling process, whereas glass cools too quickly for crystals to form. Apart from that, the process of heating up naturally occurring materials to transform them is the same. The origins of glass date back to 3,500 BC, but it wasn't until the Roman Empire, 2,000 years ago, that the art of glassblowing and the practical uses of glass became more widespread. One of the more innovative uses was to use it in windows, as up until then they had just been holes in walls. It must have been very drafty in those days. The Romans were also responsible for inventing concrete, and although the origins are uncertain, experts think that this is largely due to the high level of volcanic activity in the area. The Romans observed that when volcanic ash mixes with water and then cools, it gets extremely hard and almost impossible to break up. The chemical reaction that follows is very complex and continues for many years, and the concrete just keeps getting harder. Evidence of this are the numerous Roman remains that are still standing, many of which are almost completely intact. One of the most important facts about concrete for the Romans was that it can be created underwater. As the Roman Empire grew, the Romans needed to take control of the seas, and for this they needed to build harbours capable of holding a fleet of ships. Pouring concrete mixture into the sea immediately started the hardening process, and rather than just dissolving in the mass of water, the substance was tough and long-lasting. This strange characteristic of concrete made a significant contribution to the success of the Roman Empire.
Welcome back. How was the test, huh? How many answers are correct? 40 out of 40. Congratulations. Well done. Fantastic. Splendid. Okay, 38, 35. That is also okay. With 35, you will get 8 bands. And if you're getting more than 30, like 31, 32, you'll be getting around 7.5 bands. Less than 30 will give you 6.5 bands. And less than 26, that is going to give you around 6 bands, and less than that will give you a very low band score. Okay, so this is how you can improve your listening skill. If you want me to make more videos on listening like this, just go to the comments and comment, "We want more, we want more, we want more." Okay, and then I'll make more videos. I teach IELTS online. If you want to join my online IELTS classes, my WhatsApp number is given. You can contact me for that. I run another channel, Asad Yaqub Vlogs. I request you to subscribe to that channel as well, and don't forget to subscribe this channel, Asad Yaqub, and click the bell icon so that whenever I upload a video, you should be the first one to watch that video. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best with IELTS listening. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.